my cutie, I look... This is like a lot. Like this shirt, this background, but the shirt's gonna make sense for the look that I've picked out. The look that I've picked out for this video is so cute and like whimsical, and I've been seeing it for years, but like I just have never, like I was never into makeup back then, so now that I've seen it and I do makeup now, it just makes sense. After getting off of those trips, I don't know if you saw the vlogs, and if you haven't seen the vlogs, fuck you. I've been so tired after those trips, it took everything out of me. It makes me never want to fly on an airplane ever fucking again. Like, it's just too much. And that whole vlog, everyone was commenting, you just complain a lot. Well, yes, I'm a complainer. Have we not, like, noticed this from all my videos? I like to complain. And there's half truths and half lies to my complaining. This is the last video of HOGTOBER. It's not right. It's not right. But today, we are going to be doing drunk makeup while we read horrifying Halloween night stories on Reddit. I've been waiting for this one. I love hearing about spooky shit that happens to people on Halloween night. Are you fucking Michael Myers? What the fuck's going on Halloween night? I'm confused. I feel like only skinny people have scary shit happen to them on Halloween night. Because, like, you're skinny, you know what I mean? Like, no one's gonna be chasing me down the street, my fat ass, down the street, or care enough to chase me down the street. Also, I haven't been eating that much because I've been anxious because of all the traveling. Do I look like I'm about to disappear? Right before your eye. I just can't get over how, like, much this is. This is so much. I hope it's not hurting your eyes. Half y'all bitches don't even fucking watch the screen when you listen to me. I'm just a fucking podcast to y'all. This is the makeup look I'm going for. I'm hoping I can do it justice. I've never done, like, an animal look before, but it's cute. Like, I really hope it does turn out well, which is why I picked out this shirt for it, because I feel like it matched perfectly. I've been trying to fix my sleep schedule, so that sleep schedule was literally going to bed at midnight and waking up at 8 a.m. Which is like a sleep schedule everyone should be on, but it doesn't really align with my aura. I'm a night critter. Like, I like being awake until 8 a.m. I have heartburn right now. Do I have Tums? But we definitely need these before we take some shots. And it's the last video of HOGTOBER. You better be getting drunk as fuck, high as fuck, fat as fuck. All that's in here is crumbs. The orange ones and the yellow ones are like fucking candy. Before we get to the stories, what time is it for? Fatty Sean o'clock. Drop on your knees and bark like you want it. So every time I travel, I get these fucking bumps on the back of my hands. I think it's from using different soaps too much, but they itch so bad that I will literally wake up in the middle of the night fucking gnawing on them like termites. Drop to your knees and flop like a heat. Okay, we're getting started strong. This is in the Let's Not Meet group by Blue Pushkin 4 years ago. A creepy guy followed me home into my building on Halloween night. Very long. I apologize. Also, don't fucking hate on me for color matching. It's a fucking deer. So, like, I don't know. Halloween night, stereotypical, I know. Several years ago, I was followed home by a stranger. I worked at a large mall about an hour away from my home. An hour away? How much were they paying you? The store closes at about 10 p.m. and the only bus ran every hour. I miss the days when malls would close at 10 p.m. If I want to go to the mall and pick something up that I've been wanting or needing, those hoes close at 7 o'clock. COVID ruined everything. Pisses me off, bro. Only bus ran every hour and only dropped me off 2/3 of the way home, and I would have to walk the rest. This usually happened between 11 to 1 a.m. at night. You must have really fucking loved your job. Depending on if I can get the store closed down on time and if the bus wasn't too packed for me to get on. I am not a small woman. I'm fairly tall and fairly round. Period. Relatable. And not particularly attractive. Okay. Why is this... Why does this like related to the story, Queen? What's going on? The uniform was just a polo shirt and black trousers, flat shoes, and all covered with a thick coat. I didn't see him get on the bus. Okay, now we're introduced to him. Mama! I also have that spray bottle of water. To be fair, the bus was packed and noisy, and the walkways were crowded, and I did my best just to block it all out with my headphones staring out the window. She's literally the main character. I am not a people person, and having been at work for 12 hours on a busy day surrounded by the same assholes, I was just pissed off and desperate to get off the bus and be alone. She's literally a queen. When we finally got off to my stop, I managed to struggle my way to the front of the bus through people that refused to move. How is this bus like fucking jam-packed at 1 in the morning? Well, I guess it's Halloween. Also, buses run that long. I feel like this is like in a different country. She also said arsehole, and I pronounce it as asshole because like I'm not gonna say that. That's embarrassing. So maybe she is from like fucking Britland or whatever the fuck it's called. How old is this? I stumbled into the night air and breathed a sigh of relief. A couple of people got off the bus behind me and I started up the hill, crossing the road to continue up the side street to lead to my road. This side street is very long and has offshoots into residential streets and very steep hills going down. Is she in Italy? But like, who? No, I feel like the only people that like celebrate Halloween like we do is us. So like, would she make a point to make a Halloween night story if it's like not in America? I don't know. Or am I like out of it and like disconnected from the rest of the world, and it's fucking Trump's fault for separating outside media? The street itself is lined with small shops, and there is a high grassy bank on the opposite side and houses along the top, so it feels very isolated after the shops close. Very few people get off my bus and stop at this time of night, and even fewer head in the same direction. Those that do get cut off and go down on these hills long before I get to the hill that leads up to my building. Now, the street isn't very well lit. The street lamps are very few and far in between. I already feel this shot, by the way. I've walked home in the dark this way 1,000 times, and I've walked to work this way 3 to 4 a.m. in the morning 1,000 times too, for a different job. Okay, so she's hustling, bustling, by the way. Also, I always enjoy the cool night air. I'm not afraid of the dark and love how bright the stars are where I live. I don't loiter. I walk fast so I can get home and shower as soon as possible. This night, I noticed someone walking behind me. I usually do because, as I stated above, very few people walk this way at this time of night. I was aware of him and waiting for him to turn down one of the side streets. He didn't. I felt a little weird, but I'm not the only person that lives in the area, so maybe he just isn't regularly walking this way this time of night, so I've just never seen him before. I get to the medical surgery and car park at the bottom of my hill and cut across it as always. At this point, I know if he also heads up my hill, I need to worry a little more. This hill goes alongside the surgery, and then there are high walls on my side of the street that block off all the flats in the side of my road. They can only be accessed from the road before mine. At the top of the hill, this wall ends and turns into an alley and runs parallel to my building. The opposite side of the road has multiple closed pubs, a closed corner store, and an old church that has been converted into a Muslim worshiping center, which is also closed. There are even less street lamps here, and my building is surrounded by a metal fence with 20 or so feet of grass. 20 feet of grass? The point is, it's isolated, and the only reason people should be up there at this time of night is if they're living in my building. This guy crosses the car park after me, and now I'm feeling concerned. I know he doesn't live in my building. There are 9 flats over 3 floors and 10 people. I know all of them, and they know me. We would recognize each other even in this level of darkness. So I walk faster up the hill, hoping to get into my building before he catches up. He starts walking faster, too. I can hear him gaining on me, and by the time I get to the gate, I know he's too close to me for me to be able to open the door and get inside before he's on me. The building is dark, and I know everyone is in bed, and it makes me feel all alone. At this point, I'm shitting myself. So thinking quickly, I cross the road and walk further up the hill behind parked cars. I use the opportunity to swing my backpack off one shoulder and grab my keys. I wait for him to follow me and get behind the cars too, so it will take a little bit longer for him to be able to cross back over before I bolt across the road, throwing open the gate. I swing it so hard behind me because he's now running at me, and I think it will either latch before he can catch it or it will hit him. Either way, it will buy me a few seconds. I slide down the slope, barely staying on my feet because it's dangerously slippy when I feel drunk as fuck after that first shot. Okay. I slide down the slope, barely staying on my feet because it's dangerously slippy. I slide down the slope, barely staying on my feet because it's dangerously slippery when it's wet. I turn the corner at the bottom and slam my key card on the reader, pressing hard on the heavy door before it beeps so it will open. The door is heavy and on a fire safety hinge. That means it can't slam or force it closed. The stairs are a couple steps into the building and to the left. I live on the top floor. It's not a big building, 3 flats on each floor, 2 flights of stairs. It's also a concrete stairwell, so every little sound echoes and can be heard behind closed doors. I get inside the building and immediately bolt up the stairs. I'm only a few steps up when the door flies open behind me and this guy comes after me. Holy, I think my soul would ascend outside of my fucking body. I don't know how she's like thinking and processing things. I think I would just collapse on the floor and scream, begging and hoping someone wakes up. Wake your fat ass up and come save me, because I can't save myself. I'm sorry. Feeling a little bit more secure now that I'm in my building, only a few feet away from neighbors, I spin around before he reaches me and slam my heavy backpack into him. He falls back to the landing and manages to catch himself by grabbing a hold of the handrail. I scream, "What the fuck?" at the top of my lungs and hold my bag in front of me. Now we're inside and the stairwell is lit by the motion-activated lights. I get my first proper look at him. He's a little taller than me. I'm 5'8". He's black and old enough to be graying. His clothes are weird, all made out of weird waxy material some weatherproof jackets are. And he's wearing heavy boots. I don't recognize him at all. And he looks up at me with wide eyes as I stare at him. I'm fully prepared to kick him in the face and throw my bag if I have to. Okay, you just did. I'm confused. Am I drunk? I don't want him to be able to follow me into my flat, so I stare him down. He begins to stutter, hands ringing over the handrail and ducking his head a little, trying to look pathetic and harmless. I would have spat on him. What the... Ooh, don't... He's acting like a fucking deer in headlights. Bitch, you're the fucking semi, bitch. He mutters something about visiting his son. Then why the fuck were you chasing me? Like I stated before, 9 other people than me live in this building. At that time, none of them were black, and none of them, other than myself, were young enough for him to be their parent. Okay, they don't have to be black for them to be their son, but I see what you're trying to say, I think. Even if his son did live there, how would he know to follow me off the bus to get into my building? Why did he follow me when I moved away from my building? And why did he... Literally! Why did he chase me? He could have walked to the building and buzzed up for his son to let him in if that was true. I begin shouting, also at like 2 in the morning, you're coming to visit your son at 2 in the morning? Fuck you. I begin shouting at him to get out, repeating those 2 words over and over again, sprinkling in, I don't know you, you don't live here. He continues muttering, making his excuse, but I shout over him. When I hear neighbors moving around and coming towards our doors, probably to look through their peepholes, I begin to back up upstairs. My neighbor right at the bottom of the stairs behind the man opens the door, leaving her chain on and peering through at us. She asks me if I'm okay and if she needs to call the police. The guy spins in to stare at her, his hands out in a stop motion, and I hear another neighbor open his door behind the stairs, also on the ground floor. He calls out to ask if everything is okay too, and I just yell at both of them. He followed me home. I don't know him. He won't leave. I'm now at the top of the first set of stairs, still looking down at him. My male neighbor starts telling him to get the fuck out. Either more intimidated by the man than he was me, or realizing he was outnumbered, he begins trying to open the front door. You have to press the button to get it to open, and he clearly doesn't know that. Further evidence, he's never been here before. All the neighbors coming in, he's like, you need to leave, you need to leave. Yeah, period. Fuck you. Feeling more secure now that I'm not alone and he's trying to leave, I bolt across the landing up to the final flight of stairs and get my door open before locking it behind me. I was dripping sweat and very close to a panic attack. I dragged my Hoover to the front door and propped it up, just in case someone tried opening my door. I would hear the Hoover fall. I didn't sleep very well at all, listening to every sound in the building, and luckily didn't have to work the next day. I woke up about 6 a.m. to a lot of the sound of the building's landings. I could hear people opening a bin chute room and coming back out again. I peered through my peephole to see uniformed policemen searching the common areas in the building. I didn't call the police, but I assume one of the neighbors downstairs did. I would have called the police fucking immediately, but that's just me. Maybe I'm pissed off. The bin rooms are fairly large, so I imagine they were checking to see if someone was hiding. I don't know for sure, and I didn't ask, other than asking me if I was okay when we saw each other next. The neighbor that helped me the other night never said anything about it again. The way that he was acting brand fucking new after literally chasing and following her, and then playing the fucking victim. I'm just here. No, you're not. You're a fucking creep. And I hope you die. Like, what are you... Okay, I finished with the base. I mean, it just looks like my normal fucking shit. But, I mean, I feel like most of the looks have like normal beat, and then after that, that's when the cutesy creativity comes in. And I'm really excited to see if I can blend well with like the darker brown sides coming in. Let's see if I like cook on it, you know what I mean? Also, I cheated on you guys. I did my nails on my own without you guys. They're those little Halloween cookies. Those little sugar ones that you fucking eat and get big and fucking bloated after eating. They're so cute. These are probably one of my favorite sets I've ever done. Anyways, what time is it for? To smack the crusties off my lips because they're chapped as fuck? Really? It's fatty shot o'clock. Why are you Why are you grumpy? Oh, fuck. Also, you guys don't see it, but my fiance lit all these candles for me. So cute. You guys can't even see it. He did it for me. He made sure that I felt in the spooky spirit because he felt like, because he knew that like being away from home and like traveling too much like got me not in the spooky spirit anymore. And he lit all these candles and he decorated this whole thing behind us for me. Nice sweet boy. This is from Mistaholic 5 years ago in the Creepy Encounters group when I was almost kidnapped on the eve of Halloween. So I guess it's not Halloween, it's the night before Halloween, but same fucking thing. First things first, please forgive any confusion with the title. For clarification, the story takes place on the night before Halloween, October 30th. So it'll be the day before you guys see this. I don't remember my exact age, but I'm sure I was in middle school, either 6th or 7th grade, so I couldn't have been any older than 12. To provide some detail to the story, I didn't weigh more than 100 pounds until I reached high school. Okay, people giving their weight in these stories so far is like giving me. Like, I don't know why I think that's important, but they think it's important too. I was always very skinny, flat from just about every angle, wasn't particularly tall or short for a girl. I stopped growing at a nice 5'5" around sophomore year of high school. I was overall pretty, low energy. Okay, are these like the same people but like opposite from the last story? Like, what's going on? I was low energy, but the one holiday that has always been excitement through the roof was Halloween. I was, and at 22 years old, still am, huge on costumes. This night my mother drove my sister and I to the mini strip mall where a discount clothing store had just opened maybe 3 months prior. The reason I call it a mini strip mall is because the only other businesses on the strip were Sally's Beauty Store and a Marshall's. It was last minute trip and it was easily 8:30, 9 p.m. or later. So the Sally's was closed and both the Marshall's and the clothing store we were going to close within the hour. That being said, this clothing store was surprisingly massive once you got inside, and for Halloween, they decorated the place from wall to wall with really cool decorations and costumes. It was very easy to get separated from our group in a place this big, as it had many tall rows that were nearly impossible to see over. Shortly after my family and I enter the store, one of the workers in the dressing room section puts on a Halloween mask and jumps out behind the rack of the clothes, frankly scaring the shit out of me and me only. Okay, is she getting paid for that? Because I would have actually been pissed if a worker scared me on the clock. You're getting paid to scare the fuck out of me for no reason. My mom and sister, of course, have a great laugh and separate from me to go shopping on their own. I know I was in a good humor, so I go looking for a costume of my own. I had a serious addiction to my MP3 player during this time, and had my headphones in while I was browsing, but kept getting this chill on the back of my neck because it felt like I was being watched or followed. At some point, I took one of my earbuds out and turned the volume on my music down, and noticed whenever I got the feeling that the person watching me was coming closer. I'd hear the creepiest whistling noise. There were a few other families in this store shopping, so I told myself I was being paranoid, but went to find my family anyway. They told me they were going to be a few doors down to the Marshalls and shop there before... They left you at a whole store alone at 12? I guess maybe it was a different time, but like... I thought they were going shopping on their own in the same store, like an aisle over. I mean, I guess it wasn't a different time if you were almost fucking kidnapped. I was welcome to keep costume searching at the store on my own, and to come find them when I was done. My mom gave me like $20 and she and my sister left while I continued shopping. Oh, it was definitely a different time if you could buy a costume for $20. That feeling that I was being watched and followed never left, and I eventually started looking under the clothing racks as I walked and saw a pair of dirty black sneakers on either side of me more than once. However, I never saw the person's face. At this point, I knew I wasn't finding a costume there and was starting to leave the store to walk to Marshall's to find my family. I distinctively remember hearing the footsteps not far behind me at all as I was leaving, even weaving between different aisles like I was. My heart starts beating fast at this point because I know I'm not imagining it anymore. I ran track in middle school, so I was able to pick up my pace pretty smoothly without losing my breath. The footsteps behind me did not falter. It wasn't until I was out of the store that I realized when I turned around and looked at who was following me, and I remember my heart freezing when I saw him. It was a white male, probably no more than 35. dressed in all black with his hoodie up, just staring right at me. He didn't have any bags, so he clearly wasn't shopping there, and while I'm staring at him and making eye contact, he doesn't stop following me. In fact, it looked like he was even smirking. I hate men so much. Looking back on this, I want to hit myself for not screaming for help then and there, but sheer terror just locked my vocal cords. I immediately turned back around and broke out into a sprint. The Marshalls was several doors down and a good running distance from the original clothing store, but I'm not slowing down at all because I can hear the guy running behind me and how hard he's breathing to keep up with me. But this guy was determined. I remember making literal whimpers when I realized he was gaining on me a lot faster than I was expecting. I was terrified that he'd snatch me up in this dark, mostly empty strip mall and that I'd never be able to get to my family in time. And that no one would question it, probably write it off as a Halloween prank they'd seen. A last-minute burst of strength got me through the Marshall's automatic doors. But to my literal horror, the guy runs after me into the store. Okay, how fucking bold are you? I fucking hate stinky fat people. Like, why are you like this? He is so greedy for this kidnap, like it's crazy. We're both still going full speed, and my brain hasn't stopped to think of anything besides run at this point, to actually scream and notify the other people in the store that what they were witnessing was not a prank and I was in serious danger. Luckily, I was as tiny as I was and quick on my feet because at last minute I jumped between two revolving stands with phone cases and headphones that I knew he wouldn't be able to jump through because of his size. He literally shoves one of his arms through the gap and lunges at me and trying to grab the back of my shirt. But luckily for me, he makes a lot of noise doing so, and more people will start to look over. I haven't stopped running at this point and have no plans to, and by the time I find my mom, I'm babbling and sweating and crying, and the last thing I see of this man is him making a quick retreat from the store. To this day, my mom and sister still think I over-exaggerated this story. Like, what did they think was happening? You screaming and jumping through aisles? They thought that was funny? Or if my family didn't fucking believe me, I think I would just start swinging. I think I would beat them the fuck up. Okay, I'm back with the eyes. Are you fucking telling me I do not look like a fucking little deer prancing? You can call me a fawn. I put a little white under the eye to widen my eyes more. I look like a fucking fawn. Like I'm gonna go fucking frolic through the meadows. Also, if you guys were wondering where Stephanie has been and why she didn't go on the trip, if you saw the vlog that I posted on Tuesday, before we left, we were going to take her. She got mad because she couldn't buy something on Roblox. She threatened when she was on the plane to hijack the plane and crash it. So we left her ass at home because we know she would do it. We thought that was over. We thought she would learn her lesson when we came back from her trip. We even bought her a hoodie. We bought her some candy. We bought her a pair of shoes. It wasn't enough for her. What do you think we came home to? 5 people living in our apartment. And now they have fucking squatter rights. Are you serious? Fuck. I look like the guy at your school that would like never turn in his work, and he would like only show up to school with like one folder with like one piece of paper in it, lined sheet of paper that has, it's like all crinkled and old. He wouldn't bring a pencil. He would ask you for a pencil. And then when the teacher would ask where his homework was, he'd be like, "Miss, you look really good today." And she'd be like, "Where's your paper, Adrian?" And then he'd be like,
"Miss, stop. You look really, really good today."
And then she'd start blushing because she flirts with students because fuck her. And then she'd be like, "Just talk to me after class. We'll figure this out." Knowing damn well a week before when you tried turning a paper, the teacher looked like she wanted to spit on you and she said she doesn't accept late work. That's what this is giving. This is from P.S. Sprouse 9 years ago in the Let's Not Meet group. This group was really doing it for me because I know that they're real stories. 9 years ago, titled Halloween Eve. Back in 2008, I think, I had graduated high school but was living at my parents' house along with my younger brother and sister who at the time were in high school and junior high, respectively. What would disrespectfully mean? It was Halloween Eve, meaning the next day was Halloween, and we were all asleep in our beds. Now, I have to tell you that although we lived in a nice-ish street, we lived in a town known for gangs and drug deals and random crazy weirdos. It was a little scary to hear gunshots and police sirens in the too close to comfort distance every single night. But hey, it was home. Okay, relatable. Anywho, at about 4 a.m. I woke up to what sounded like a gunshot on our front porch, followed by shouting and violent pounding on our front door. I, being curious but also scared out of my mind, creeped up to my second floor window and peered out the front yard and in an obstructive view of the porch. This is what I could see, and aside from hearing a regular stream of cursing and more pounding on the door, and I had no clue what was going on for about what seemed like hours, but in reality it was probably only about 20 minutes. Finally, and quite startlingly I might add, my brother came bursting into my room to ask if I was okay. I told him yes. Some weirdo was at our front door. He had knocked, aka tried breaking down our door, and my dad heard and went to see what was happening. He peered through the glass and saw a man on our porch, to which he asked what was wrong, without opening or unlocking the door. The man answered, "They're after me," repeatedly while glancing behind him. Okay, is this the purge, or like what's going on out there? My dad, saying that there was no one behind him on a dimly lit street, asked if he would like to use our phone. He said yes. So my dad grabbed our house phone and handed it to him through the doorway that he had cracked open. That's already too much. Like, I'm not cracking shit. In fact, I'll go to the back side door, open the window, throw the phone out, and then shut the window. The man tried to push his way in, but thankfully my dad stopped him and shut and locked the door. He then proceeded to call the police on the phone the man had opted not to take. That was the story up to the point where my brother came to check on me. At the point, the man had started screaming profanities, yanking the door handle back and forth violently, and pounding on the walls. And then I heard the shatter of glass. Oh! Okay. The man had taken a chair from our front porch and thrown it through the front window. Is he Ghostface?
Do this, I can't, I won't.
Your call.
Like, what's going on? This window led to my parents' bedroom. I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure I was bawling at this point, knowing for sure that he was now in our house. And remember, I woke up to what I thought was a gunshot. I thought about how he was going to kill my parents first and then run upstairs to kill me and my brother. My mind raced at all the horrible things that could have been happening downstairs. When amazingly the police pulled up right at that moment, they immediately came into the house and detained the man. Apparently he had climbed through the window, cutting himself in the glass, and crawled on all fours through my parents' bedroom and through the kitchen, finally ended up on our living room floor, where he laid down and bled all over our carpet. Okay, crack is a crazy drug. He didn't have any weapons on him, despite my original theory of him having a gun. I guess I thought, in my rudely awoken state, that the pounding on the door was a gunshot. He was apprehended before he did anything to my family, thankfully. We think he was on some sort of drugs, or was hallucinating that someone was chasing him. No charges were filed, and we never saw that man again. No charges filed! Y'all are really forgiving. After the police and ambulance left, my dad cleaned up what he could of the bloody mess, and we all went to bed. Unfortunately, all of us forgot about my little sister, who was in the downstairs bedroom in the back of the house. You didn't check on your daughter? Or your sister? I actually would have been like, oh my god, like, what if he, like, went in the basement first and then came outside, or, like, she was fucking terrified at what she just heard, and she's, like, in the corner, like, in a closet hiding, scared. Y'all do not fuck with your little sister. No one had gone to check on her, and no one told her what had happened after it was all over. So she spent the entire night cowering under the blankets, thinking something could still be happening. Oops. Oh, oops. Oops. Y'all are fucked up. I'm sorry, but I look the fuck good. This isn't done yet, obviously. I decided to leave, like, the white dots for last because I feel like that's the final reveal. Like, you could say this is any fucking animal with a fucking shit brown nose and you'd believe it, but I feel like the white dots is what does it. So after this last story and our last fatty shot of clog, it'll all come together. But, like, the nose, so fucking blended. The eyes giving deer. The blending on the bronzer could be better. Whatever. It looks good. Fuck you. It's time for a fatty shot o'clock. This is posted by Daily Donut 16 in the Let's Not Meet group again, 10 years ago. Be careful who you open your door to on Halloween. This incident happened to me last year on Halloween. My little brother and I were home alone since our parents had gone out for a Halloween party. They had tasked us with handing out candy to the trick-or-treaters. This bummed me and my brother out because we had made plans to go trick-or-treating with a few friends. Your parents prioritized their party over you guys trick-or-treating? I want them in jail. Like, right now. Who the fuck? That's... My parents told us we were too old to be trick-or-treating and that we could instead invite our friends over to the house and hang out there. Too old to be trick-or-treating. That's an excuse for them to go to a fucking party. I trick-or-treated until I was 17. Sorry. My friends declined my invitation to come over because they still wanted to go trick-or-treating. So that left me home alone with my brother handing out candy. A lot of people stopped by our house, and by 10 p.m., almost all the candy was gone. My brother and I decided that we'd eat the rest, and we were sitting on the couch watching a scary movie, stuffing ourselves with candy, when there was a knock at the door. I stormed off the couch wondering who the hell it could be knocking on the door this late. I assumed that it was just some late-night trick-or-treaters. Even if that was the case, I turned the porch light off and Halloween decorations off, which should have been a dead giveaway that we were out of candy and that we weren't home. So I assumed it was my parents. Being cautious, I looked at the people and saw a suspicious man sitting on our front porch. He was wearing a black hoodie with the hood over his head, which made it difficult to see his face. The only detail of his face I could spot was that he had a beard and a dry, crusty lips. Okay, literally fucking me right now. My lips are itching and burning. There's like a cut from me smiling the other day. God, bro. There's no way that this guy was a trick-or-treater because he wasn't wearing a costume and he was far too old to be trick-or-treating alone. Okay, listen here. His hands were stuffed in the front of his hoodie and he also looked very thin. Every single red flag went off in my mind about this guy. There was no way in hell I was going to open that door. Still looking through the peephole, I watched as he knocked on the door again. He seemed desperate for us to open the door and was shaking a little bit. Is this another drug addict or what? It wasn't cold outside, definitely not cold enough for someone to be trembling. He was giving me a really bad vibe and I wanted to get rid of him as soon as possible. "We're out of candy," I shouted to him. I watched as a smile spread across his face. It wasn't a friendly smile either. "Are you alone in there?" the man asked. His voice was raspy and dry. "Should I call the police?" my little brother asked me, gripping his cell phone. The man let out a low grumble and said, "Sounds like you're not alone in there." I continued to watch him through the peephole. His hands were still wedged tightly in his pocket and he was still shaking a little bit. I began to wonder if he was armed. I decided to take action and spoke to him in the most intimidating voice I could. "Get the fuck away from my house or I'll call the police."
Okay, period.
His smile faded and he bared his teeth. His teeth were piss yellow. And I concluded that he was probably some homeless crackhead. He had a look of fury plastered on his face. Fortunately, he left without trying to break in, probably because I knew I wasn't fucking around with him. I didn't stop watching him through the people until I saw him completely off of our property. My brother and I breathed a sigh of relief and decided not to call the police. My brother and I were a bit paranoid after this and watched TV until our parents came home. We didn't tell him about the man, since he hadn't really tried to harm us. Now when I think back at this, I wish we had called the police because maybe we would have been able to prevent a murder. What? You see, the next day we found out that an elderly woman who lived a few houses down from us had been brutally murdered. Her neighbor had found her laying on her front porch covered in blood. She had been stabbed multiple times in the chest and neck. My brother and I immediately knew who had done it, and we told the police that we knew. They couldn't do much from the information we had given, since we hadn't seen much details of his face. They went on the hunt for the man, but they never caught him. I blame myself for that poor old lady's murder because I could have prevented it from happening by just calling the police. I think the most disturbing thing of all is the fact that he didn't take anything from the old lady's house. Her house had been left untouched. He could have gone in and taken what he wanted since her door was wide open. This means that he just wanted to kill someone. That was his only intention. He didn't want money or jewelry. He only wanted the urge to murder. So to the old crackhead Halloween slasher, let's not meet. Okay. I really didn't like that. At all. It's so sad to see people that go through these traumatic situations. They always go first to blaming themselves. Let's blame the crackhead who killed that lady. with his piss yellow teeth. I'm gonna finish this makeup look and I'm not even gonna show you, I'm not even gonna do a little montage of me doing it because I want it to be a shock to how good this turns out because I feel like it's gonna be so fucking cunt. How about that? So I'll be back and let's see how this turns out. I look so good. Are you serious? I'm so proud of myself. Am I like drunk and like you guys are gonna flame me in the comments when I post this or what? I feel like I look so cute. Like I feel like I look so good. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys enjoyed HOGTOBER. This is the funnest I've ever had while filming YouTube. This month has been so fucking crazy for me. We're so close to 100,000 followers. I'm not super close, but close enough. I love you guys so much, and I love filming videos for you guys. And if you guys are new, please fucking stay. And please, if you guys, I know you guys think you're subscribed, but some of y'all bitches are not fucking subscribed. Y'all are fibbing. You're like, oh, I love him, I'm subscribed to him. No, you're not. You haven't clicked the button, so it doesn't show. But I love you guys so much. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope the stories this month have been spooky enough to get you in this season. And I just want to let you guys know how much I appreciate you guys. And please go watch the vlog I just posted on Tuesday. It's flopping so fucking bad. I'm still grateful for the views that it has, but it's definitely... I thought it would get a little bit more traction than that, but I guess not. Maybe it's not your guys' fault. Maybe it's YouTube's. I'm not sure. I hope you had a good October. I hope you have a good Halloween tomorrow. I hope you guys fucking get lit and suck some dick, eat some clit. I love you.